We are tax-oriented people, abide by rules and regulation. We are responsible and acting for is for a friendly environment in doing business. And we know that this is coming for good to the Pacific of Nigeria, Enugu chapter. The national body is not only in Enugu. I believe that Enugu will not be different. I hope so. Yes. So we believe that it's a win-win situation. So all the members stay fast. This is for a welcome idea, so we can have a voice. We can have a voice to do the business and do it, and we are well recognized. That's what this shows. Them to invite us and talk to us. It shows that they know about us. They want us to work together. So we are ready to build the synergy they want us to build with them. Before we go on, we have a very project. On the order of program we have, then we have a representative. Who is the representative? Our Reverend Chief Enugu. Okay, then we're going to welcome the goodwill message from our Reverend Dr. Chief. Thank you.
First, our garrison commander. I'm that which territory I am. Thank you so much, Chairman.
Thank you.
I'd like to appreciate all France and everyone here. Let me start by saying, Mr. Chairman, that the number of developers in the group does not signify the power in that group. It was in Abuja sometime we were doing a meeting. Executive Secretary of FCDA. His staff were telling them that the last meeting they had, the whole hall was filled up with all owners of property. The hall is not filled up. The Executive Secretary told the staff, all the directors, to make that statement. Each of these developers who are sitting here represent 1,500 people, because in each of their estates, you have over 500, 1,000 people. So we are no more, it's a paradigm shift. That when you are talking to real estate developers, CEOs, you are indirectly talking to hundreds of people, thousands of people at the same time. That is important. I want to appreciate the Executive Chairman of the State Canada Representatives. On his coming in, there has been a very dramatic approach to revenue generation. He builds it on the basis of humility, advocacy, integration of the parties, and an inclusiveness. And that is why this is not the first meeting that we are having. With him, I have been privileged to have a meeting with him. I happen to be on the Government Council of NECA. NECA stands for Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, who employ 95% of the labor force in Nigeria. So when you come to NECA meeting, the MD of Dangote Cement sits on the same board, is representing thousands of people downstream in the operation. And NECA held a meeting for 2000 in the next hall with Enugu State Revenue Service and some local government chairmen on the issue of some of these land charges or issues that are related to it. And that approach, I dare say, by the current chairman of Enugu State Revenue Service has yielded good dividends. Good dividends in the fact that we have seen through the tax collection process that none of the tax has gone haywire. He hasn't entered private market. He has entered inside government coffers. The methodology is transparent. The methodology is very open. That anybody knows that any money you pay is going straight through to government coffers. That is a departure from the past, when we know that some of the things are not under proper technology, and then they end up with cash payment, they end up with all kinds of payments that are not going to where they are intended for the government. One of the other things that we have noticed also is the element of engagement. On our own, we have also seen through the streets of Enugu, through our deputies that have come back, and other projects, that money that didn't go to the India pocket, that went to the government pocket, did not go into the hands of also contractors and got diverted, but that they are there being used. I'd like to say also that, for instance, in our own estate, we have to have an exhaustive meeting between Enugu State Internal Revenue Service, the Estate Residents Association, and estate landlords association that we have in all our estates. We all sat down and looked at the issues, and then we agreed on the modalities. And when we agreed on the modalities, we were delegated to represent Enugu State Internal Revenue Service in our various estates, not like a developer. And when we got that, we decided that in tandem with the approach of government, we don't facilitate manage any of our estates. We give unit of assignment, we create estate landlords association, we create estate residents association who are responsible for maintenance, collection of other fees. So we dedicated that same function of ground rent collection, land use charges to the estate residents association and empower them that this is how much we are being given. Because in the meeting, the Enugu State Internal Revenue told us that if you collect this, what you have collected, paying our staff, pay you a token for the effort you are making. And they did that. So we can told them, because they were in the meeting, and said, this token they will pay us for collecting. If you can collect it as you are collecting your security fees in the estate, collecting your estate maintenance charges, you go ahead and collect the land use. Go ahead and collect the ground rent. You also will share this is ramp-up, and we are being happy to go to them. So it became a win-win situation between the Estate Residents Association, we as the developer, and Enugu State Internal Revenue Service. Now, when it came to be that there were other fees that came on board, youth development levy and other things, I had to get back to the executive chairman. I said, this one we don't understand. We have understood the first one, we understood the second one, but the current one we don't understand the legality, we don't understand what it covers and what are the issues. And in his usual way, he said, I am willing to come and have an interactive session with all the developers so that all of us can be on the same board. One of the issues about interactive session is that you may not go with all you expected to go with, but at least two things happen. One, you know that your input has been brought into the boardroom of decision making, because every of these things, feedback that we are saying, we normally go back to the boardroom of decision making. When we started at stage, instead of starting from 2018, when the land use charges came into operation, there was a stage of saying we can't pay for back fees. You didn't do, we didn't have put in that money. So they said, okay, we're going to start the land use charges from 2023, when the government came into operation and started doing that. So I would like all of us to appreciate the fact that for me, this is the way that governance must go. I don't agree with all the charges. Why don't I agree? But they are legal. I don't agree with all of the charges because I see the impact of what the people down the ladder. It may not impact me as much, but I have seen that rent in Enugu is going up so many other things are going on. But also, one of the takeaways I had with one of my friends, I was in Lagos last week, was the fact that he told me something that I'd like to say to us. He said that when there's an increment in some of the operating environment in your ecosystem, it's because of want you to rejig their business and rejig their philosophy. And I came back and I asked myself, what does it mean? And as I came back on Saturday last week, I discovered that they have MBA meeting. Some of my friends who are lawyers called me and said, please book hotel for me. I told them, don't worry, I'll get you a hotel. And now behold, I went around everywhere, I couldn't get a hotel for them. That means all the hotels in Enugu are fully booked. All the apartments in Enugu are fully booked. So which means there's an uptick for business people. I turned around again, I put one of the bungalows that are for rent. And I found out I collected something that was good. I won't mention the amount because the man in charge of tax is here. It's not here. Nobody what I'm saying. So the beauty of it is this: go and rejig your business approach so that we'll see how it will happen. But no matter how we rejig our business approach, the income of the civil servants are not increased, more likely to increase. The income of those who are at the bottom of the ladder are not increased, they're going to increase. So that is why we are going to continue to have this interactive session of addressing the challenges, addressing where we are going, because we know that when the economy is moving from 4.5 million GDP to 30 million, it will affect everybody. But we have to see how at the end of the day we will do the need. Government has provided some cushion effect for people at the top of the ladder. But as us who are in the business, we need to have this interactive session. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to appreciate you. I'd like to let you know that this is not going to be the last. That I will still appeal to you, whether as NECA, Service Chairman, or as a member of behalf of my gas, when they send me to come and say, please, can we talk about real estate development? I'd like to let you know that we will still have this listen. Please maintain the good heart you have brought into your bear on the process of tax administration in the state. We all will benefit from it. But at the end of it all, we all are citizens of it, in and out of government. Thank you so much, government.
But we also know that what we are doing is also in accordance with the law. Challenge is that our people have not been able to interact with the law the way it's supposed to have been done in the past. So if we start today is the morning, start those action. For the real estate developers, one, let me start commending you for being a partner in the development of Enugu State. In the past 1 decade, we have seen massive spread of estates, private owned estates. And that has also helped in the development opportunities our people have seen. That has helped in opening up some areas you couldn't believe they will open up today. So if you look at what has happened within the centenary area, nobody would believe that that place will be as much developed as it is today. So when you go to that centenary hill, fact is like those places are a different part of the world. Kind of the women there is simple art. When you also go towards Ogo axis, you see the type of estate that have gone in there due to the activities of the private real estate developers. If you also go through the new Enugu axis now, you see massive development going on there. Areas opened up by this rail. Go to the new GRA, you see massive development. All these areas have been made possible if government has said we only want to develop this. So we appreciate you for coming in to be part of the development at the end of the state. We also want to thank you immensely for choosing Enugu as your destination for this investment. A lot of people, a lot of your colleagues ran away to Lagos and Abuja, and some of you stayed put and said, let's be part of Enugu development. Even when the insecurity situations were heightened, you sit at home, you still did not leave Enugu. We appreciate that. We are not taking it for granted. And we will do everything within the law to sustain your investment here. We also make sure that we expand your partnership with the state. And more opportunities are rising on a daily basis for us to regime the real sector development of Enugu State. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Chairman. We appreciate it.
I'm just starting because I may not do much. So let me take this opportunity to read it out and face the questions that will arise. So, when it comes to real estate development, it's an area that has a lot of fund inflows. It has massive fund inflows. In the real estate, we have that understanding that the real estate opportunity in any state is above ₦1 trillion if we harness it the way it's supposed to be. The real estate opportunity is above ₦1 trillion. So people I may not have all the figures. That is our own may estimate. It's above ₦1 trillion. And if the real estate opportunities in Enugu is above ₦1 trillion, then the question we want to ask ourselves is, the Enugu opportunity of ₦1 trillion for the real estate, how will government benefit from this opportunity in the real sector? In accordance with the law, in the tax laws we have, there are areas the estate developers are supposed to be the engine of contribution to the Enugu state. Those engine of contribution may not have happened the way we expect them to happen, but it may not happen overnight. But we want to begin to discuss it, those opportunities where the real estate developers supposed to partner with government or supposed to contribute their own quota towards building our state of daylight. All of us know that tax law provides for personal income tax. This personal income tax means that I have to pay my tax. You have to pay your own. That this personal income tax, how many of us in the real estate pay this personal income tax? This personal income tax are paid in two ways. If you are the owner of your own business, in our portion, many of the owners of business don't pay themselves salary. And when owners of business don't pay themselves salary, you need to do what we call direct assessment for those owners of business. Direct assessment is that you need to declare your income in a year, and the tax authority will now say, look at how much you're supposed to pay as tax. It can be discussed. It's not a boss-servant relationship. It can be discussed at any point in time. So these are what we have seen that is lacking in our real estate developers. Then some of the real estate developers also have employees. Those employees, the law requires that you act as agent of your employees. Whenever you want to pay them salary, deduct taxes and remit to Internal Revenue Service. So these we also see them lacking in the real estate development sector of because many of us are probably may not be aware, probably don't know how to go about it. But I also believe because of the relationship we have established, I don't want to go and do it by force. You must do this, you must do this. Let's take it as a dialogue that you're supposed to know about it. So when there is need for us to tell you how to go about it, we need to tell you how to go about it. Because the law requires in that business that if you have employment of above 5 persons, one is that you must pay above minimum wage or pay minimum wage at least. If you have an employee of 45, so when you are not paying minimum wage act, you are also defaulting. Then when you pay minimum wage at above, the law requires that before 31st of January every year, you must do what we call personal income tax filing on behalf of your employees. That filing is free of charge. Nobody charges you any money. And you can file from the comfort of your house. We have developed a technology that allows you to do those filing. But the law has consequences for failure to file. When you fail to file, the law places penalty of 500,000 naira. 500,000 naira. If you are not going to do the law, so you have to have lawyers who will confirm what I'm saying or not. So, but when we have people in the real estate sector that violate this, it's either there's a knowledge gap, it cannot be practiced. People believe they will abandon it. Now we are weakening it up and say, do what the law requires that you should do. The law also requires now that if you are not earning up to minimum wage, you don't need to pay tax, but you must file. If you don't file, you pay that 500,000. But when you file, and some people are not up minimum wage, they're not supposed to pay tax. Minimum wage in Nigeria is 70,000 naira. So these are areas we want you to understand and understand it very well so that nobody will be coming to say that they're supposed to do it or not supposed to do it. That's the first one I talked about. Person contact number 1 and number 3. I've been able to talk about the 2. Then there is another personal income tax you are supposed to pay. Some of you are not cooperating. Some of you are business name or partnership or just an enterprise or cooperative. Cooperative, yes. So if you have a structure of business, if we are your entity is a business name or an enterprise, a partnership, and you have built a house or a plaza where you collect rent, you know the law does not allow individuals to deduct the tax. So because the reason does not allow individuals to deduct the tax when they want to pay you rent, we will tax that rent in the hands of the earner. That is the person income tax for house rent. Everybody's talking about it's too much in any state. We will tax it in your hand. So sometimes we also discover that some of the real estate developers have consent or power of attorney from investors in their business who are not here in Nigeria, and who as they manage this property on my behalf and remit the proceed. So when they are managing on your behalf, we should also be able to deduct tax that are arising from those managements, those rent collected on behalf of your client, and pay to internal revenue service. You know, in Nigeria, all these taxes, we abandoned them over decades, believing that manna will fall from heaven. For government does need for an CBM print as much as they want for them. It also have government need to find money to develop the state. Then, apart from this personal income tax, I've explained the first one and the third one, which is provided in personal income tax 1993 as amended 2011 as amended by Elements of Finance Act in Nigeria up to date. These laws are there. It's not Enugu state law, it's the law of federation, which means it's applicable to all the federation, all the states of the land. Then, apart from that, Enugu state has land use charge law of 2016, amended up to 2017, and up to 2025. The land use charge demands that every property, whether developed, is expected to pay land use charge annually. If you are living in London, you will notice that people don't build house in London and hand over to their kids. Do you know why they don't do that? Because you pay too much tax on every property. Every property you pay tax. So people should be able to build the one they can manage and pay the taxes arising from it. Apart from buying land, you should also be sure that you are able to maintain those houses. If you are not come to owning a house, not own house now, not house. Better go on rented apartment so that you avoid a lot of expenses. God at the day you say, if I get my own house, I'm free from all expenses. No. If you have your own houses, you still need to continue to pay money every year. As if to say you are paying for house rent. But this land use charge is a very small money for some part of the state. It's also a good sum to some part of the highly developed part of the city. This land use charge is only is 6,000 naira a year. Very small money. It's not up the sort of trend. If it's in our it's at 8,000 naira a year. Very small. Transekulu is about 76,000 naira. It has started graduate a year. Agba Road is about 57,000 a year. Part of Obia is also 57,000 a year or 95,000 a year. But if you live in a place like JRA, Independence Layout, Zoo Estate, Ebony Housing Estate, some part of New Haven, it is up to 200,000 a year. It's up to 200,000 a year. So when you see people complain, they complain because some people are living above their means. They have a house, probably inherited house, in JRA or Independence Layout. If you inherit a house in those areas and you don't have income to maintain living in that area, I usually recommend one thing. What I recommend is that you make use of what you have, you get what you want. You know the truth of living. You can't be living in just land alone in this area. It's about 150 million naira today's price in those areas I just mentioned. You can't be sitting there and they are dying of hunger. No, it is foolishness. What I suggest, if you want to sell the house, the land and the building, you are sure of making 200 to 250 million naira. Sell it now. Go there, buy a plot of land for 10 million naira. Build a beautiful house you can maintain. When you build a house, build also 2-bedroom PQ by the side. Everything totally cannot consume 100 million naira. Take the other 150 million naira and start a business that will sustain you. Then the 2 PQ every year. Rent it out. The rent you get from there, pay for land use charge and pay for income tax on rent on those, and you still have change. and you continue to do same, you bother yourself about paying to government. That's what I advise people. But you know, I value the partnership because of you. Collect on our account any percentage of what you have collected. And when we tell our staff to come into a come with what it also causes security issue. So partner with us, collect on our behalf, give us your data, how many buildings you have in the estate, and the name of the owner. If you give us, we'll ask you to go and collect on our behalf, collect it, pay, then that's not what the law says. So those buildings on our own, they go inventory. Go to layer, it is your revenue. Mana, go to literature to individual, to a company. After the price of those buildings will appreciate. Some of the Golia who want to sell again. So, is it not? So when they want to sell, because that this estate means state under your control, they won't sell until they come and get the consent from you. Is it not? It is only at that point in time who they get consent that we want to collect the capital gain tax. I said there, the capital gain tax on the buildings built and you want to sell. When you sell those buildings, these are your primary inventory and primary source of business. You don't pay capital gain tax on sale of them. But when you have sold to the first buyers, yes, and the first buyers want to resell to another person, they will require consent from you before they sell. Yes. So that time you want to give consent, you must demand that they have to pay capital gain tax. You still understood now? Yeah. So, the figures no. That now the capital gain tax are rising because those people are doing developers, individuals. When they say they are selling at a gain, you have to pay 10% of the gain. Or if they fail to keep record, we collect 1% of sales value. 1% of the sales value. If they don't keep record of the gain, they don't keep record of the show of the gain coming, we collect 1% of the sales value. Yes. Good. So what is demanded of you is that when we come for it, you give us all the consent you have given to anybody that sold property. If you don't ask them that you must pay your capital gain tax, we demand for those consent. That very time will not begin to ask you. No, because these people fail to ensure that they pay it. So if you get consent, you can take whatever you can go and pay 1% of it in the revenue service. That payment of capital gain tax, they usually give the power to give them consent to cancel. Or without seeing those evidence, have to go the money. Don't give consent because when we come back and ask you if it's maybe the law says you should have done this, you failed to do it. Actually, the tax is not so make sure that the patient has paid it before you give consent. Then we're going to get tax. Then the stamp duty. When you are going to have stamp duty in Nigeria, any property that is transferred and is not properly stamped is not an evidence in any court. Any property that does not have any document, any agreement, any power of attorney, any deed of lease that does not have stamp duty is not admissible as evidence in law. And failure to stamp is an offense itself. Failure to stamp is an offense itself. So, if I have application all this to face, no matter how fly anywhere. So I come on, I'm gonna discuss like this. So, you notice that what you have been doing is that you come to government when they want your food to hectares of land, is it not? That's what we do.
Yes.
Then go and calculate this land. The extent the group of 200 square meter. I think Uno kata yang ya. Unu na unu wete one government plot ni 1,000 square meter. Una ba to 5 or 8 to 6. One of the two siapa ni anak kau tu Unu na ko manage cari plot Eko si mata ni pun dari konstruksi jadi dia kan manusia. Sekarang kita di next moment. Eko nak dia buku pakai space. So, unu luar dia nak. Betul siapa percaya? Aku tahu mau promote that. And when people come to buy, it was an agreement between you. Which now the result and the only neighbor who is the missing. Okay? At that point in time, no agreement. There is not an agreement. That agreement must be stamped. Is that what understanding me now? That agreement must be stamped. The law is not asking you the state developer to pay the one to pay. It is the buyer who is going to pay. The law says it's the buyer that will pay for those stamps. So your own duty is when you are selling, ensure that the stamp duty is included if you are asking people. Or else, you enter the agreement, put any animal officer, and will tell the buyer to come and pick the ball. You can go get a stamp, or you can go get a agreement there now. Is there any speak about that piece Nina? You're not talking about too much money. Because they all require that for a plot of land, stamp duty is 1.5%. That's what the law says. And they are not releasing for whatever. They want to pocket legal. Well, in the so if come to buy land, we are not reducing it. It's 1.5%. Who will pay it is the buyer, not the seller. So these are ever taken. I want billions of naira stock here. Billion. Stock on this number 5. And they stock in your offices. It's billions of naira stock in your this family. So how do we collect billions of naira that is stocked in your houses? We want to collect it. We want to collect these billions. So we have to check the cost, how we are going to collect billions of naira in office room. That's what the law says. How come we don't know? How can you change laws? It's a federation law. It's not me that made it. But I'm going to go get you the law. So it's a federation law, and we need to begin to pay it. When you open a legal and don't I don't know about the other way. Konya will go to the music to my family. Because some kind of only charity to go to something else. Business center. Payment. For you to be a money. You are not about that new books in the water. I'm very wicked. I'm going to pay money. But I'm going to offer like this. sika by full of gas in by. If only man they go for money 1 million. So that's not the good man. Before you go for money, the good up pay not the go for money, up pay not. But not chapa. You're gonna have this. You go for your money to up pay not today. Actually, who are all that and pieces are one of these are giving no swap. They got more. Men that so, also, I never check on the good that you just so you're another now. Okay, sim no way. Malaysia got 10,000 naira. Now on the social media. Oh, we not go get the back of my other call you again. Or over here, or $20. Because when I'm over here, can the FCC have that day after the end law? Well, now, neither. Oh, no, we are not. So these are things we do. So this time they are new back. I actually looked at the money that I need. When you open up that shop here, I stand for it. Here, officer can stand 1.5% of this value of the land, of the property. Only the property now, the property now, not 250 million naira into place. Never buy them. Now, Joya, the way you guys be a neighbor, check it, and they only for Corona. Say, so the way the man have a banana attached to much. So let us collect our families or who matter when you got for your 20. So the bottom or your 20 you take up there. Then, how could man another expensive name to ever? How could man? Then you got another expensive name. Ever my friend is yeah, I got a VGC, some people they may buy yet on the igual. Say to the gather. Say they don't know. Say I'm going to get it on a neighbor $2 million. Say what? $2 million. Now, island. Must be now my time with another $1.5 million. So why are you pricing $80? No way, anyway, the leg you can imagine that. Oh, so it would be very cheap. That's why I won't be an estate. You know, I'm not going to be against it. Lagos now. Yeah, grab or hand Janine. The buyer on us now, everything on everything. Now, we have my price of property. Lagos, my price of property. But I got my price of property. So, what did I want to do way back? Because I believe everything they will like 500,000, 400,000. What the power? What about 500,000? Here now, what outside the bottom you do? What there? In our mom, if that place next 10 years, I must be a hitching up. What outside you go in? What available? If inside there, or what? Is that what you do the just watch your back a few years. When you're going to pay back to them, then I tell 200,000. But only 1 million in that channel of their way. Or possible, all of them are. All and malaria, I got to lose back. 21 million in that channel of their way. You can go now, really, okay. So, God, taxes. A lot of estate developers, they get contract for construction of houses. Sometimes you don't see one. Some private individual, I say, okay, one car. Here, they have 20 million. Or yet, every give you 20 million, 20 million. So when you give us those subcontracts, you don't pay those people without deducting withholding tax. You don't pay them without deducting withholding tax. Withholding tax, now those areas, 2%, but that's what they don't see. 2% of whatever you want to pay them. But their construction, 2%. And even those what donate that, even that it was stamp on there, 1%. Because the contract, even the agreement between you and the contractor, there's 1% stamp on it. Here I talk to nothing more than this. Here are taxes that are within the real estate environment or ecosystem. And we have to collect it. When I talk, I fashion out the best way to do it or doing in fact, I actually do enforcement because we are friends. I know enforcement, then I say enforcement carry. I actually add another answer now, that complain about enforcement. When I need the money back. I need the money back. Who know what we have done with the money we collected? All the obvious that the money we collected in the states has significantly impacted our development. If you watch in our villages and even in the city, we are building smart schools. When we say this smart school, some people may not understand it. The smart school has nothing to do with the building stereotype. No, it has nothing to do with building structure. What makes it smart school is that it's a school where we begin from the kindergarten and begin to teach our people what technology is all about. All these are universities that teaches theory. You are going now engineering or which engineering or when you now civil engineering, I'm going to mix and for the first time. When I go check up, engineer now, I'm engineer, Chubike, engineer, division. Man also pay mix for the first time. So, I told let the kids from childhood begin to learn about technology. Everything in Friday make it that technology. If you revenue, technology plays a lot. Let me hear that. Okay, back and technology. We don't even need to come here to do this meeting. We can do this meeting on Zoom. What are they on America? Can put Zoom. When we do this meeting on Zoom, nobody is going to be there. You hope you know. So, after we hope internet is there. Internet, now go what internet, and it's available here. This internet is there. Come on, we are about free gift of nature. Yeah, technology. So all these things, government is trying to bring it down to our place and smart school. We also building this smart school 270. It's massive. This 270 is closing to 300 billion naira expenses for the state. If you come to we are also building type 2 hospital in every village, in every ward. It's 260. We are also revamping some public hospitals, some type 3 hospitals. We are bringing them on board because they buy health care. You are going over the issue. When you're going to tell you, like, you don't want to do this, they are not failing a billion. You have the issue. That's what the best and next available flights. If I go to it, this is not why I Man, we health care. When you see what I'm hospital check in I have to say near daughter visa fee. Because when you buy for visa fee, whatever you daughter and when you want to go for abroad, if I get plane in daughter, British, American this one. How I go daughter Biaro? If I go to Kenya Airways, how I go daughter? Rwanda, a good daughter. Ethiopia, a good daughter. Emirates, a good daughter. So we can't continue to finance them. I ask for an able to buy. Because if you want to go in, why don't they APC in a week? Where go through. So it doesn't need to go not kind of here. If you have made care here, this money will revolve around this place. That's why you now know the contribution they made in the economy because you give contract to our people here. You not the here John Vega, you not the here Arab contract, you the here the buying. So when they are doing this house, they collect the money. But not with the money, by a bank of money, by getting some price money. They get another reform within the economy. That's how the economy grows. The state is also, as a revamped international conference center, Osete, Manande Masna Hotel, Enugu Social Hotel, Hana, Sunukushpani, Enugu Hotel. I say, when I hotel, so Enugu, and when you take a minute, get to hotel in the 7 hours. You are not one in the white hall. In 2018, I organized ICANN conference and Italy here. A general conference for Southeast. Manando can hear from other parts of the country and the world. Or what am I? Of course, nobody comes in the one house can take one of my room because hotel jukide. Open. All the time getting provided by I provided by the Buha conference name for 1,000 people. That is 2018. Today, Opachagaya, every kind of name. Just pay bread, go ahead and invest a gas take care of it between Sunday and next Sunday. Because you have a kind of I hope you know. Yes. So I was not the executive secretary of that time, but I gave you. Or Nandi Poland to hotel coming. His space. So go immediately. I say good here, or else I'm going to go in the one space. When I will go on the money, list contact in the Navani access. I be sure now. Space in our band. You know what I got on the back. I CNT boss to put the money from our band. 9 mile. Every hotel gave back. If they had any knock back, I CNT in Soka. I CNT uses Canaba Enugu. Abakaliki, I CNT even Oka. I CNT was no Canaba. From Oka to Enugu back to tell Oka. Tell all the nation about that. Go na ladies. So people, this is what we are doing. To build that international conference center, about billions of naira is spent there. Then we are also building a hotel in that international conference center to reduce this kind of stress. Not a conference, not free bag. It's about 340 rooms. The one hotel in Enugu. This presidential academic, it's 100 rooms. Money protect that. No di Abuja. Abuja Continental, they may charge contain 1,000. Yes. Okay. Transport, they have contain 1,000 at a time. So, who can get one with the hotel? Then, so no matter the narrow corner, who the buying of Mao. They are not who got money for money and I got on or what got beating. Whereas if they got 20 standing story building. My friend in Canada asked me, man, they actually know that this conference hotel right now, I carry 100 story building. They are no hotel in Canada, more than 100 floors. And the hotel 120 floors. They are at the 100th floor. So, see how the type of guy. Because okay, no, that buy Ghana, but California. See, I put name, but California. Come on, my Diana, too much. Because all the community push back. So they can imagine money on a 100 floor. I royal Abani. What you give me an amount of food? Kunoma. I royal about Ama people. Prevention, I royal and the buyer. What is your a royal and the more around So we can do it. So we can change the stuff, man. See what we can do. Even in our opportunity, you know what able to in our body and get the way. That's the avenue. That's the avenue. Go and put them there and advertise it today. I get what only need is just a bed or put in there. Immediately. Can't take a bed immediately. You can rent bed, you mustn't buy it. You can go and rent bed to get there. You lay your school, die from the gay release here for 1 week. What take a day get to a it's an opportunity for us. 20,000 members out of 1,000 members. It's massive. The conference is supposed to be attended by 20,000 members across the world. Everybody opportunity present from here. But the Koromo Diego Bayana, we are the physical aftermath. As we can get it, another really. So, over that, entries. Entries, offices, you know, here, business premise, which is not something escalated. Then, you look to an individual, you will request someone in your room. So, we will also do the same partnership. And there's some happy at your estate. When you have to buy into the partnership, so that a good rate will not collect the individual this summer. Nobody will enter your estate. So we are ready for all this kind of partnership. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for this opportunity giving us for this explanation. I want to
Those of us who inherit residential building as areas.
My name is Chairman, Redan Chairman. For us, of course, we are seeing this as a double taxation. But it really makes some explanation, which I wanted to say something about. My question is coming from this start. You know, this start, which is saying is for miners, but we are the miners. We buy to register. For now, we are the buyers. Obviously, it's investor. So, this stamp duty we are talking about is for everybody buying land to register. That is one of my questions. Is that for everybody? That means everybody have to pay, provided you have had an agreement of any land from any state. Okay? Then, another question I want to ask is, stay at the end after getting transferred to the tolling tax. Firstly, as a double taxation, it still boils down to individual. Please, I want you to address that. Thank you.
Putting this meeting to an end. We very wonderful opportunity for everyone of us practicing in the state. Very proud. Thank you so much. You're very good. I still want to thank you. And this service chairman. One I will you. I am your back. Because usually when I got to know about this tax future and I painted, I still know that I'm done, no more than that. But you see now that I am in something like thank you for that opportunity. I appreciate our chairman too, the state and the UNESCO. Thank you so much for being my I have one or two things to say before I pass my things. Number one, we understand that government in the state and present government in the state wants to set the pace or be setting the pace for other states in the east to follow in terms of development. We want to appreciate that since 2 years from now, 2 years to now, we witnessed great change in the state. That's what we pray for. I'd like to let you know that it was during Sullivan team have come that most developers came to use. Yes. Because he was out to make Enugu return to what it used to. So we appreciate what the government is doing. It's a kind of please extend our appreciation to His Excellency the Governor. Then, we also want to let that the law was not meant for that. So the man was not meant for the law. The law was the man. So, there are things that are very key and individual of faith and globally related space. And you, at this time as you are having this agency, to take into consideration. Let's come to the times we believe. You came to make this better. You have to be kind of along for it to work the way you want to do. One of the things we noticed was, if you observe it correctly, most of the businesses that came into during that regime was under the regime. No longer in the most of the companies have left them. All of them are probably the one that came from Lagos that we know. When they are talking, they are coming from their business and make profits. But we'll agree with me that when they get to it is not what they expected. So, expected to be better. That's not what we want as people that came from this state. Because what we want is whatever contribution anybody can take as a new to expand the state. Let the person make that contribution. So, we want you as government, not talking to you as government or state, to drive this development according to the capacity of the people within the state. If it is more than the capacity of the people within the state, you won't see the kind of results you are expecting to see. Yes, we agree that there must be changes. We agree with the government that Enugu must change what it is to what he wants it to be. But it's not going to be overnight. To say that it has to happen, we will be giving the people the burden that is beyond their capacity to carry. And thereby forcing a lot of people out of business. Just when you are saying something here, we met last year. And the reason with you was for careless. And we took steps. There are some of us here that we know, including our own company, that has gone back to start implementing something like this in regular steps. Since that time, now, companies are paying, the police are paying their on monthly basis. It's as a result of the outcome of the people we have. But there were promises that were made on the part of the government. The developers were wondering, if the government expects so much from us, we too, it is give and take. So we expect that government should also, in one way or the other, again also so that it won't pain anybody when we go out of the line to stand for government in our respective estates for the people and make the collection party. So we are still hopeful, we are still looking forward to some of the things that government, you said the government will contribute in the development of our estates. I mean, as basic because taxes are paid for something, for development. And this estates we are talking about is, we are part of the development we are talking about. So, basically, for federal government that will produce estates, please let them invest in, let them also look towards that direction. Now, let me come up for that. My question now is number one, what is the difference between this land use charge and property tax? Number two, the chairman of the State was asking. Now, we're happy when you say that developers are not the one that will be paying stamp duty on the properties. But I know I've had that experience. When we bought our property to develop these houses, we have to register it.
Yes.
Under the names of these institutions. And I know this tax was one of the prominent requests of government. Now we are going to pay for that tax. And all the things that they use to list around it and developers. Get these properties registered. Come back home to give those properties now to the individual companies. Who will in turn come back to government and start registering these documents? That's what is considered.
Yes.
And that is why we say this is double
Taxation.
We want the government, even the people, yes. Let's find a way to remove the developers from quality completely so that the developer can now stand and collect the money back from government. Then, finally, all registered titles, all registered titles now, like you are talking about that your moms are developers. I want to believe from what I know that definitely whoever purchases this property kept it somewhere. Eventually it will come back for registrations and still collect this money. Those people who have this money. But I want to encourage our people from that we have the vice presidents of this meeting. But further registrations are tied. The one I'm talking about is one that but further registrations, we should be able to bring this into play. So that at least the end of the let government see volume of transaction that is coming from us. Next time we are saying something, they will listen to us. So the one that has happened before, I know we still recover the money, but the ones that is going to happen, Yes, my members are here. We're also going to publicize and let it know. So we'll be able to carry it out from now. Thank you so much.
Government made promises of building infrastructure. And I don't think government has reneged on those promises. The promises of constructing roads. I think anybody now will be that government taking hand there, and these roads are going on massively. The dualization of Enugu will create massive opportunity for the state developers. It's an infrastructure being developed by the state.
So the one I meant, the one in the east, we agreed that when we have the largest states, and the estate layout,
estate layout coming in there.
Yeah.
So, okay, everyone actually look for the fraud. Government, inshallah, can have is good management. Government cannot come and acquire these things and deal with wider infrastructure. There has to be more of partnership between good land estates and the government before government comes in there. And in the partnership, there must also be a request. Government doesn't want to do people do that. But then your estate, the channel of China, for where? You are so many people do that. You can't do that. You can't go here back. I can work partnership. Then I can work back some requests and justification. That it's not just a private estate. Look at how it's going to support the states. And government will do it. And the good partnership will have the major government to the partnership. So we are government is also ready to do that. The issue of water, we promise. We have more reneged on it. It may not have happened quickly as we have wanted it, but we are not sleeping day in and out. We are working out to ensure that this water is to the last mile of every residential house. We are working on that. We are not going back. So the alternative we are trying to explore is to provide immediate dam at Akuke River, the Guru River, and the Idoru River, harvest, print, and pump out. So that we cushion some of the challenges we have a pipeline cost replacing asbestos pipe and all this kind of thing. If you have it's a challenging area, but we are not sleeping on it. Then the issue of stamp duty. I don't want too much. I don't think anyone has too much major that way. Cost me headache. See, when you buy a land as an estate developer, and then they ask you to register the land, you can put stamp duty to register it. You can pay laws to register the land. To get the job going, you can put stamp duty to register it. The question is, what makes the cost of the land? The cost of the land across also maybe to purchase here from the original owner. The cost of the land includes the agency, the registration processes, the cost of legal agreements. All this is what makes up the cost. And it's only when you determine the cost. If there are the cost of infrastructure, if you are the land, only the added cost of infrastructure, population, this one. If you go there, already the stamp duty, airport, and people part of the cost of that land. If you go there, so that up on account that I was an hour of work, I need to money for me and Ghana. So give me the airport stamp duty. Only is done. It's here was that not the organization. Only when I got the organization. Only I had the organization meeting. Only I got put in the form. And he used a double taxation. Can you use the multiple taxation? Like a double taxation, how do you in law? Double taxation, you know, that how do you go take off the four tax, if I will not in Nigeria. We see a banana tax. We are going to have taxation. But when you talk about multiple taxation, he said, now I'm going to cut. And if I going to cost, and I have multiple taxation. So when I have multiple taxation, I can get for a period over here through sales. Because you have included the part of the cost of the land and you sold it. Why you getting poor on that? And I need to. No problem, you need a facility away. You can buy that land, register, decide the area, skyscrapers, rent there, and even now the rent. So you need facility away. If I listen the group, doesn't mean you must do for sale. You can use for rent. So I'll give you the amount challenge with me. Make a book. So be inquire for part of your cost. Let me say your carry over your material imagine. Yeah, really. Already the agreement that what dealers the coming. If there is no agreement, then it is not paid. The person is only paying because there is agreement. Agreement can happen. Agreement can to perfect that agreement. Never be able to stand it. Open never agreement. Open no he no or go for rent. Stamp duty guy which is stamp duty guy 1,000 naira for lease what we call rental agreement. 1,000 naira. 1%, 1.5%, 1,000 naira. So if you need to learn why you work so that's a part. Another one is the one difference between land use charge and property tax. If you have property tax and land use charge in the state, here's what again I got land use charge and ground rent.
We don't grant rents, that one is that.
Not again. Omoro didn't see the mirror. They want to one to that. That land use charge is our property tax. That is the name of our property tax in the state. That is what we call property tax in the state. In our property tax, you know what I'm saying? Because if I get one, it's not of House of Assembly, they will come. Why we collect house the ground rent different from land rent? No, without laws we support it. Everybody can like if you go to Lagos, the more ground rent teaching, we land charge it. Who fail to come, he can come charge they can charge it as a one peer boy. And I really can have law free and I will just calculate it. So when I tie our law says mortgage, when I those say under the from ground rent no, the higher ground rate you can pay for 600 square meters is 6,000 naira a year because it's 16 naira per square meter. That's the highest you can pay. Over here, they have made it 200,000 because they will make it show of hope dating back to 1991, 1980, and they not pay the dime of it today. So how many are late? I check the and today, if areas, the African has a great very I years, we also have it national ground very space, I separate they have easy to open and they have. So what they give it to carry 30,000 a year of ground, they make more money. Then also, if then companies have really I have to grapple with this kind of sentiment everywhere. They want to say, "Nata sit down and shop no way." And they want to tell me shop and not shop put in a way. If you want to behave, you get this empty. And they want to have pain. Whoever can tell that should be here. If I know waiting, if you shop for sale today, you go and have it. Just write it for sale today. Go to the guy again. One you so I want to pass now. business in our page where now I didn't have a shop the 9 for spare parts. I had about 3.8 billion naira at that shop. Can you go there? Tell you what? My mom is nothing but I was actually on it. I was on the guy, she can't cost years to build anything in business. Mana, then I wear $1 now they are full. When they give the opportunity, then I want to let's take all the opportunity and you go back again. They will get opportunity. Let us stop the marketing as an environment that is not having a form of I have a shop, not post terminals. From what we get for the river, the cheapest shop there is 12 million naira. Let's go for that. We sold at about 2.1 billion naira. That is shops. Can you go there? Can you go? But that's not a social media that is and actually, you can go in and when they take out shops. You don't know no way you come that shop ever said. They go there that night. You have to shop no way. I'm going to take 2 months to go to shop no way. But I have that because nothing. Take a room. Dinner, okay, I got a lot of check. If I'm out of election, you'll see the Labour Party of Iran with some social media exercise, never not by every day. Their government fight one IPOB now. IPOB will grassroots everywhere. The unit of social media doing the government. I so have number of facts. We don't like it. We don't just like it. Every publication flip on your page that is Enugu with high security list. For where? You didn't know any survey. But Enugu like on that of money. Now that's money. Or is no cash. They don't come here. They may can make it honey. I don't care what they say. But let us avoid saying where some businesses left Enugu in the past. Because also saying the southeast. Because of sit at home. Sit at home in a year. You have worked 57 days in a year. Probably if you want 1 billion, go billion. But you don't let us in 1 billion, go billion. Okay, people also mention the business, or maybe a cash below. Because for 1 year, you have lost 57 days. Every shop in the you can't compete in the world. They left Southeast not because they no. They left because of just at home. It impacted our business massively. Manonisha, Manaimo State, Manabia, Manu Maleboy. But every business not seeing some businesses come back. You have to business to come back. You have to business to come back. You might be business to come back. Or sit at home get or go ahead tax or business in natural regulation didn't have to the matters. No, not at all. The tax side and another of tax is a year. And the boy talk about personal income tax, talk about storage, local government storage. Business premise, talk about captive, talk about extra, sandwich. You have a very good thing for the whole year. That's done. If that was too much, I get a social media tax, they told me not to that's 6,000 a year. That's 6,000. It's 6,000 naira. Hey, go to the beer in a year. But that's not too much, not too much. Just when you go and everybody know when that business are my materials. For now, I'm not quite as it tax. So we need again now go every day, and it's better for them. They get up 750 every day, 750 with their union dues. It includes business dues, it includes their woman, it includes every other money. And they follow their union to collect money. This 750 include their union dues. Some of their union is only 200 every day. mana oge ha na-ana ike onye nka na onye nka bụladụ nkata tụọbịa ihe mekọ onye nka si n'afọ ya oge kpọọ ya if some of them pay up to 1,000 a day or union dues alone with this consolidation they have stopped racketeering attack and they don't distribute the high cost and pay everyone attack too much he pay money too much. Use your own business. Yes, we increase the cost of food. We increase it, yes. We increase because it also develops state. I don't know now a rate who is 1991. And you want us to buy asphalt at the rate of 2025. How do we do it? Actually, no tax at 2020, 1991 rate. Money talk, I don't make use you. The rate that the last fact today, where was how? Operating what is possible. If I go down in 1995, you get me at the rate of 1995 today. Try to get into services like what our government. So people can reduce those in the state. Then the other one I think we have been able to discuss our stamp duty. Very well and how it should be done. Another one with withholding tax. Withholding tax had the royalty from personal income tax. Other of which when a every contract governor, the law says for the job, it's an advance tax. It is an advance tax. At the end of the year, they will give your personal income tax direct assessment. If only evidence is only that in the document, as subtract the other question, we just pay the balance. The law said it is an advance tax, or do it your final tax. So I think the personal income tax assessment, if you put the receipt in the document, I will not subtract it from what is pay the balance, and advance tax. Now,
so many things we need to say. We have a lot of things, questions and contributions to make. In Chairman, I think we need to do that before we get to our question and the contribution and God bless you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Strategize. People are also ready to be this anytime of the anything constitutes their ability to meet you so that we are ready and transparent all the job of
I want to appreciate you for your time. I also want to let you know that we will call outside emergency meetings just as we say on this organization. So make sure you are very prepared. If you make it general or make this, so please make sure you are there so that we pay attention to this and take it one very very short period of time. Thank you so much. Once again, I say thank you. One thing is that we are going rather a 50-day platform and all government agencies in the industry. There will be adequate collaboration. We are not going to be enemies.
Yes.
So, and they must listen to us. We are the drivers. Our value chain is very long. Up to the artisans, very long. So if they make us enemies, it will not work. So we must work together.
Yes.
We must work together. So anywhere you see them, they are our partners. Anywhere they see us, we are their partners. So, and one of the things we are going to do is sure there must be an avenue of identity. So when you come as a developer, they know you are one of them. That is one thing that will come out of our arrangements. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much. On that note, we have come to the end of the discussion meeting. We thank every one of us who made it to today's event.